Hello, and we had just finished up the webinar, and for those of you that were at the webinar this evening, thanks for attending, and we had a great laugh over my story about at the Little League ball field that others had said I should share on video and post it to YouTube, so I'm going to give it a good old try, and it's a story taken from my second book of the series called Mastering Your Own Spiritual Freedom, Lessons from a Course in Miracles, and published by Ozark Mountain Publishing Company, and on sale everywhere books are sold. And hello everyone. Let me get a sip of my coffee. Oh, that tastes so good. You know, it seems that it's human nature for human beings to judge others rather than accept them for who they are, who they truly are. So allow me to describe a conversation. I'll do it the best I can. It was easier for me to write it, but to try to talk like this old man is going to be a little bit difficult for my minimal acting skills. But allow me to describe this conversation a man once had with my friend Connie, who is an artist whose career found unexpected success, and she's travels the world now with her art, marketing her art gallery, which she's a part of now in New York City. But anyways, this was years ago, and this was a very unusual scenario, which is why my memory must have really held on to it. It really is a good example about, you know, rather than judge others, let's reflect joy in who we are meeting when we first meet someone. You know, it was one Saturday morning, and Connie and I were seated in the bleachers of a Little League ball field watching her son play baseball. And all of a sudden, our concentration was interrupted by the booming voice of a tall, portly, older guy who was the grandfather of another player on Connie's son's baseball team. "How you doing, ma'am?" he says. "Nice to meet you. The name is O'Malley." He was an Irish man. Connie was startled, and I just smiled in mild amusement as we both looked up at his ruddy face with his ruddy face that framed a mouth in perpetual motion, his wide frame glasses, and a graying, huge handlebar mustache. You know, Connie extended her hand to shake his hand as O'Malley's eyes met hers with a glaring stare. He glanced at me with a nod, but it was evident that it was Connie that he wanted to talk to. Now, keep in mind, Connie is a very attractive woman, and his eyes were all over her. But I don't think that there was any sexually oriented intent. He was just amazed by Connie and what a nice woman she is. He slapped his right knee and he said, "I've been seeing you here for the longest time, and I'm wondering what kind of life belongs to such a fine-mannered woman like you. Would you mind telling me a little bit about yourself?" As Connie closed her sketchbook, she was sketching images of her son out on the ball field in different positions. So as she closed her sketchbook, he added, "I see you're doing some sketching. Can I see them?" She flipped through about 10 pages for O'Malley to glance at, and all the drawings were of her son, like I said, in various poses and different, chasing the ball here, and then maybe at the plate, at home plate, hitting, taking a pitch and whatever. O'Malley paused briefly for Connie to give a nod as she did, and nodded in a positive motion, saying that she didn't mind answering a few personal questions. After all, he was very friendly, and the older man darted out the starting gate with a full gallop of questions, yet clearly was not an individual for judging others. "Where did you grow up?" "In Ohio, on Lake Erie, eh? Sounds nice. Isn't that something? Lake Erie. What's the water like there?" "That's cold and wet, eh? You must have done some fishing or sailing or something like that." "You did? Isn't that something? And did you ever win a fishing contest?" "Me neither. I sure like signing up for them, though. Don't you?" "The trying's what gives me a charge." "How about your family? Any brothers or sisters?" "6. That's great. I'll be, well, isn't that something? I'll be. You know, are they still alive, your brothers and sisters?" "One sister dead, huh? Oh, what happened? Did the car accident kill anyone else?" As Connie explained the whole detail, O'Malley paused and and stared out over the ball field for a few moments. It was a few moments before he spoke again. Thank goodness no one else died. How'd you get over it? Oh, you still miss her, huh? And you feel it was your fault, eh? She was running a grocery trip for you, was she? I know how it is. I miss my wife too that way. I couldn't get her to the hospital in time. She died right there in my car on the way to the hospital. Yes, she did. Sometimes when I walk into our kitchen, I can still smell her perfume, and I can almost see her standing at the window looking out over the yard. There's something real important about being able to miss somebody that much, even after they've been gone for years. It kind of makes you a better person, don't you think? Do you have your mom and dad still around with you? Oh, just your mom, huh? And she's your best friend? Well, isn't that something? For heaven's sakes, have you always had that beautiful smile? I'll bet you got yourself a good sense of humor too. That's great. You know, laughing's the best medicine. I always say, I'll bet you're a handful when you're mad, aren't you? Say, where's your husband at? And of course, when he said that, he smiled and looked over at me with an ordinary grin. Oh, well, not so bad being divorced, eh? It sure seems you're a good mom, though. You think you're a little hard on the boy, though, eh? Well, I guess that's just being a good parent and all. Then O'Malley's questions took an unusual turn. He asked, do you believe in God, eh? A Christian, isn't that something? What made you settle on being a Christian? Has religion always been important to you? Well, I'll be darned. Isn't that just great? On and on and on. O'Malley questioned Connie as she answered, and she answered with some giggles and some smiles. He was just such a character of a guy. He was spontaneous and unabashed, and he had no pretensions or judgments to make. He was never flustered or by a topic or the response Connie gave, and he was not a type of individual for judging others. O'Malley had no reservations about finding the truth about Connie, no matter how terrible the facts might seem to be, or any of her own errors or wrongdoings. He had no inhibitions about uncovering them. He showed no need to label her as sinful or to prove himself as an expert. You know, he liked her for what he saw in her. He liked her for what she was. And there was nothing about the past that could change the way that he saw her. He was aware of the nature of forgiveness. He had no inclination to even suggest judging others, and while simply showing understanding in his knowledge of her true heart. What a great man. You know, A Course in Miracles states, what can it be but arrogance to think your little errors cannot be undone by heaven's justice? Justice looks on all in the same way. It demands no sacrifice. Here's to who you truly are, and I wish the best for you. And by the way, I have a newsletter called Everyday Miracles that I would love you to check out. Give it a try. Click the link in the description box down below if you're at the YouTube video, and see what you think. And I'd love to have you get a subscription and be on my mailing list. If you're at my blog site, you can just tool around on this blog, and you'll see several options for you to click on to join our newsletter list. Thanks for listening to me. And once you're on our newsletter list, you'll be invited to all my webinars and all kind of other things that we offer. So wish the best for you, and here's to your real self and to your happy and joyful self without judging others. Thanks again, and God bless.